Hello again, Ron McClung here, retroactively going back and answering some of the questions I missed. This being August 2nd question, I'm answering what RPG would I like to see published? Or properly worded, what is an RPG you would like to see published? Well, short and easy answer. I've mentioned it a couple of times. I would love to see my setting, my version of Reichstar published without any changes to the name, without any changes to the title. I would like to see a Savage World version of Reichstar published. Reichstar was published in 1990, written by Ken Richardson. A world set where the Axis powers have won the war. What will the world be like in 2134? Ken had written it after playing his own version, Star Wars RPG, for a long time. And he wanted to publish the rule system and what he had created. But Star Wars was already taken. So he approached it from a much more classic literary point of view. He was a fan of the Philip K. Dick story, A Man in a High Castle, so he took it from there. I've taken it a step forward and a step backwards. I was inspired after seeing A Man in a High Castle series, reading the book, as well as The Expanse, and reading those books, to take Reichstar backwards a little bit to a time before they found faster than light technology, contained within the setting of our solar system, a solar system divided by the Nippon Empire and the Third Reich. I really, really love this setting, whether it's in 2065 or 2134. And in Savage Worlds, it's perfect. And I'm obviously making a sales pitch for this role-playing game because I would love to see this published. I'm currently working on it off and on. I've written 2 adventures and finishing a third that act as intro adventures for conventions, written perfectly for... It's a trilogy, but you don't actually have to play in all 3. You can play in the second one and not the first. And because all the players, I've approached it like the last parsec, the players are playing resistance fighters for the Tower, which is a resistance group that continues to fight against the tyranny of the Reich, primarily. That tells you a lot. I mean, it was the easiest question I could probably have answered in this whole series. I've had a lot of fun running it. It's inspired me to craft some cool terrain. There's enough out there in terms of resources that I've used just to enhance the game, meaning there's enough games, World War II role-playing games, there's enough superhero games set in World War II that the resources out there are easily ported into Savage Worlds. So I've used those for my adventures in a lot of ways. So look for them at Mace if you're interested. I realize in this day and age too that part of the reason why people might not want to publish it is because it has Nazis and stuff in it, and making this world a much darker world than anybody else ever wanted to see, except for a handful of people who are twisted and mentally unstable. And I'll tell you up front, I do not condone any neo-Nazi activity. I do not. I condemn everything the neo-Nazis represent. This is why I wanted to write this role-playing game. I started this before, a couple years ago, and before a lot of this occurred. And this was written in 1990 when things were changing and people were scared. People were scared of a unified Germany once again, for instance. That was scary. I grew up in a world where there was East Germany, West Germany. And in 1989, that all changed. And change is happening again today. And it's scary. And this kind of role-playing game, it's sort of a social commentary. I'm taking a lot of influence from some of Philip K. Dick's stories. Because I've either read them or listened to them. And there's some really fascinating concepts that are slightly dated, but with a slight twist to them. You could totally see them in this day and age, especially if the Nazis had won the war. But one of the reasons I'd like to see this published is the social commentary, and to really look at it, to remind us of history, and that we forget it, we are doomed to repeat it. And I'm talking from both sides of the aisle. So, I'm done preaching. That is number 2 of RPGaDay 2017. Until next time, seek the wolf in thyself.